a usual occurrence at the Africa Oil Week conference as activists picket to oppose the use of fossil fuels.
And we're just challenging the narrative that's going on in this conference that Africa needs oil and gas for development. And so we're here to offer a counter-narrative that the renewable pathway is the one that our governments should be pursuing.
We are not against development, but development should not happen at the expense of people's livelihoods. And also, it should ensure that the development is bottom-up and the people that are on the ground are not bearing the brunt of fossil fuels.
But Mantashe appears to be unfazed by the protests, saying renewable energy activists are opposed to development.
Many of them are either deliberate or confused. Okay, that you can develop petroleum and gas without impacting negatively on the environment. That's why we said before we start shale gas exploration, we must get the guidelines. And those guidelines are simply directed at minimizing the impact of that exploration on environment. Now, the problem we're having in South Africa is that our NGOs actually, I see them as anti-development.
Mantashe also used the occasion to sell the country's potential oil and gas reserves on the south and west coasts, and he says the country is committed to a mixture of energy sources.
As we continue to pursue security of energy supply and address energy poverty, diversified energy mix remains a requisite for our nation to meet the growing energy demands. We have not been converted fully to this thing of saying we'll move from coal to renewables. We are very committed to a mixture of energy sources.
On the cost of fuel, Mantashe says government is looking at reducing administered prices and a decision will be made in due course.
We have already begun a discussion about reducing administered prices, including price and fuel and electricity. Those are administered prices that the state must intervene to bring them down in the interest of society and community.
The African Petroleum Producers Organization says looming global carbon taxes will affect Africa negatively and impact continental industrialization plans.
If those on whom you have depended for so long, economically, socially, and so on, decide to implement those decisions or policies universally, I think we're in for trouble. Ask for a moratorium so that Africa can better benefit from this. That is, in our opinion, what energy transition is. Just energy transition expects us to do that. We also expect Europe to understand that the mess we are in today was caused by them, and they should be able to give us moratorium.
Mantashe has called on investors at this conference not to be frustrated by BEE laws, saying it's an imperative to allow black people to participate in the economy. Ulelani Philip, SABC News, Cape Town.